So if you watch this video and stick to the end, you should expect to be able to navigate and use ChatGPT fully as a tool, know all its features and capabilities, and equipped with such knowledge, you will be able to build on it, do your own research, and execute your own projects with all the features and capabilities it brings to the table. Okay, before I start going over the different areas of ChatGPT, what is ChatGPT really? A large language model. It's a type of artificial intelligence that is based off language. So it takes lots of data, usually text, language, and then it is able to generate its own knowledge based on these inputs. So that's where generative AI comes from. The most important thing to be aware of, that it is at the end of the day code generating knowledge in text based on what it has acquired of knowledge. So always keep in mind, whenever you work with ChatGPT, you need to cross-check, depending on the use case, you need to cross-check what is coming out of it. It has the tendency till the day to have hallucinations as a tool. Not as a tool, but as artificial intelligence in general. So be aware of that. And the first thing you will always see when you open a ChatGPT window is this message here saying ChatGPT can make mistakes, consider checking important information. So it goes to the point. This is the window of ChatGPT. So I'll break it down to you, showing you each feature, where to find it, and what it does. Before I carry on, if you're a subscriber, welcome back to Give Me the Mic. If not, I am Samer, a Fortune 500 executive and a non-developer. And I will be your guide into the world of AI, automation, no-code, and low-code platforms. Let's dive in. So let me start with the obvious. You might not have all of these things showing on your screen because you might be on the free plan. If you are in the paid plan, you will have access to more features and capabilities. I will show you the paid plan version of the tool with all its capabilities. And then you'll have to define for yourself if it's a worthwhile investment for you. For me, it's worth every penny, but it's not for everybody. And honestly speaking, for most people, if you figure out how to prompt properly, the free version probably will do 99% of your daily needs. Okay, so let's start on the left bottom side here, where basically you get an option. Again, this is a new tiering system they introduced. So if you decide to upgrade your membership, you can get team members to share the account, which has some financial benefit, but also have access to the same sessions that you are running on ChatGPT. So if we click on it, just to show you, this is the plus, this is the paid membership I am on myself. And what it gets you as a paid member is access to GPT-4, our most capable model, browse and create and use GPTs, and this is we'll cover soon, access to additional tools like dall-e, browsing, advanced data analytics, and more. Next is your profile. So you'll have a profile here, you can click on it and you'll get these options. The first one is my plan, obviously it will show you what plan you're on. The second one is your GPTs, and I'll cover that later on, but this takes you to your GPTs area. And then Customize ChatGPT. This is a very powerful, very important feature that I will cover as well. And then settings. If you click on settings, you'll have the general settings. You can go look at them. I'll just highlight the important things to you. I think what's most important, especially for the paid version members, is beta features. So for example, plugins, by default, it will be turned off. You have to turn it on so you can access the plugins. And whenever ChatGPT drops new beta versions, if you want to always check those out, experiment with them, you'll have to always come here, activate them if they're listed. Data controls, this is just something around how you manage your history and the data training. For me, it's a no-brainer. I have it on. I want to revert back to certain chats, have the data still there, have the memory still there for the language model, so I can pick up from where I ended and follow up on these areas if I'm still working on them. And then last but not least, builder profiles. So if you are building GPTs, and I have a couple of videos that you can check in the links in the description about how to build GPTs if you're interested. If you're building GPTs and publishing them to the GPT store, you're gonna need to have a builder's profile. And basically this is very simple. This is something that gives a link or reference to who's building that GPT and putting it on the store. And if you did not already, please subscribe to my channel and keep your eyes open. I'm gonna drop a video really soon around how you design, engineer, and create the perfect GPT for the GPT store. So here you can see my name. I deactivated it because I want my builder profile to be based on my website. And finally, here you can find my account email, where I opted in to receive feedback if any of the customers or users of my GPTs wish to share with me. Okay, we'll close settings. And now we will go to the fun and important stuff. So on the top, you will have that standard button of ChatGPT, and then whenever you click it, you will have this window. Very simple interface where you can chat with the model, you can attach file for the paid version. On the top here, you will see ChatGPT 4 for paid version. ChatGPT already has embedded within it dall-e browsing and analysis, limited to 40 messages in every 3 hours. And then you have GPT 3.5, which is great for everyday tasks, as they say, and it's the one available for everyone. And then you have the plugins, and here you can just select what you want to deal with. Now, personally, I do not believe that plugins are as widely used as they used to be in the past before OpenAI dropped the GPTs. So I believe that people probably are opting into using GPTs rather than the plugins, but it's still there, it's still something showing on ChatGPT for your use. I'll cover it now and I'll move to the other parts later on. I want to keep how we interact with this. This is the heart of ChatGPT, this window. I'll go back to it later on after you understand the whole tool and its features, because that is the most important skill. And stick till the end. I will give you the tips that will gain you superpowers in using the tool. Let's go into the plugins just to check those out. If I click on the plugins, you can see this pop-up comes up at the top. You have a drop down here. You can scroll, choose whatever plugins you want to interact with. There is so many plugins available in the plugin store, which you can check out here. But basically, you can select up to 3 plugins at a time at a session. So for example, if I'm doing something around automation with the Zapier, I'll select already Zapier, which is selected here. I'll select checking online links if I want to drop online links. And maybe I want to read some PDFs. I can do that here by selecting this plugin. Now, let us go to the plugin store just to take a look at that. This is the store. Here, you can basically go through the different plugins. You can look at them by new, all of them, the installed ones that you have. I have many of them already installed. You can search from them if you know exactly what you're looking for and install that. And this is pretty much it for the plugins. So if you have the paid version, open up the plugin store, start installing some of them, start using some of them in combinations, and tell me what you think in the comment section below, especially if you have used the GPTs. Is there a difference? Do you prefer GPTs or plugins? Do you think plugins will survive the GPT store? We'll see. So let's close this one. Now, if you look at the top left part of your screen, you will see just below the new chat that we clicked on just now, you will see these kind of weird names with logos. These are the GPTs. So these are my GPTs, or you can pin some GPTs that you are using made by others. And I have 9 more already here. And then you have a button called Explore GPTs. And whenever you click any of those GPTs, it will exactly look as if you're on a new window for the normal ChatGPT. But here, this is what I was referring to. This is a GPT that I created. It basically helps you to build GPTs, ironically. And this is the logo. This is the name of my GPT. It's called GPT Builder. And you can see my builder profile and link showing here. So anyone who uses my GPT will see by givemethemic.official.com. And by the way, remember, on my website, if you check it out, there's a page dedicated to GPTs. You can go there, understand what GPTs I've created, use them, feel free to do so. And a description. This is your guide to creating, scaling, and selling GPTs. Now, the only difference between a normal chat and a GPT-specific chat, this might or might not have actions built into it. So it might do things for you based on that specific GPT. And if you check some of the other videos where I go through some of the builds of GPTs that I've done, you can see how those actions work in real life and how to build them. If you're interested, the links will be in the description. Now, below this, you will see Explore GPTs. You click on this and it takes you to the GPT store. This is the whole store for the GPTs, and you can check this out. There is multiple categories of GPTs. So you can see dall-e, which basically GPTs concerned with images, writing, productivity, research and analysis, programming, education, lifestyle. And you can basically go in, see the most trending ones. None of mine is trending, but You can check them out, play with them. If it really brings value for you, you can pin them to your screen as I showed you on this part here, so you can always use them to get benefit out of them. And this is the whole store. And if you want to go to your own GPT section, again, all of this is on the paid tier. You click My GPTs, and this will open a window for you to look at all your GPTs. You will see which of them is shown to everyone, which of them shared with anyone with a link, and which of them is only private to you. And you can do that, by the way, if you have your own private use cases for a GPT. You can do click more here, and you can see everything that you have. You can edit them, share them, work with them, and create a new GPT. Now, before I move back to the ChatGPT window, I also do not want you to miss something else OpenAI is offering to us. Again, paid customers at this point, but it's important to be aware of it. So if we go to the OpenAI website, you will find this interface where you get started, lots of documentation, lots of knowledge, but there is something called assistants. And in my opinion, one of the most, if not the most powerful feature they have introduced. And here you can basically build your own assistants. I don't want to mix you up, but those can be described as well as GPTs. The only difference here that those assistants are ones that you can basically call upon and use in automations or in programs and code and even on your website. So for example, this is one of my personal automations I use on Zapier, which I cover a lot on this channel. And you can see here, I'm calling on some of my assistants to do some work for me. When I say an assistant, it's basically trained, it's provided with information and documents specific towards a specific use case, which will make it super powerful to do custom tasks that I wanted for a specific situation for my individual personal and business needs. This is one example where I use them in automations, and also you can use them and call them, those assistants, in programs that you create and code that you want to build for a personal tool or for a tool you want to share with others. The reason I'm showing you this code takes me back to the original point of our discussion and the most important skill of all, and where the power, the real power of ChatGPT lies, which is the ChatGPT window. And how you engage with the AI large language model all lies on the screen. One last super powerful feature that we mentioned but didn't cover, I want to cover in a minute for you to understand, because it might be something you want to use. So if we go back to my profile, click on it and go to Customize ChatGPT. If we click on it, we get this window. Now, if you're using ChatGPT for a specific cause, you have a bigger goal that you're trying to achieve as a person or as a business even, this is something that will make it much more powerful. So basically, you are answering two questions here. What would you like ChatGPT to know about you to provide better responses? So here, explain you as a person or as a business, your mission, what you're trying to achieve in your life or through this tool. And you can maybe see some of my text here, which probably you expect if you know my channel, if you're a member in my channel already. And then the second question is, how would you like ChatGPT to respond to you? And this is where you can help engineer the way it addresses you and the kind of information it delivers to you. So I will not go through mine, but for example, in my answer, I always tell it, I want you to be always asking questions. So basically, I'm helping with the quality of my interactions with ChatGPT through always asking it to ask me questions to understand more. So if you are after a focused goal using ChatGPT, this is something I recommend that you do. Now, everything I covered so far is great, but it's not the most important thing about ChatGPT. This is the most important part. And this is available maybe at different capabilities, but it's available for both paid and free tiers of the tool. Even if you're not paying for it, you can make a lot of things out of this tool. This brings me back to where we started. I'm a corporate person. I'm not a tech person whatsoever. Today, I have a channel around AI, tech, programming, no-code, low-code tools. I have coded programs that work and operate, and I've done that without having knowledge about code. The tool taught me. I learned, and I'm learning to do things I've never dreamed doing because of this tool at a pace that I never thought is possible. This is what I want to push today. I want to give you simple tips to use this window, this interface, to do great things in your business, in your work, in your career, and in your life. You can ask it to teach you. You can ask it to help you prepare for an interview. Do you want to prepare for a pitch for a customer? Not only that ChatGPT can help you prepare for that pitch, it can actually stress test it for you. You can ask it to be one of the board members on the investor side and ask it to stress test you with questions that probably an investor would ask and prepare for those answers. You can work with it and ask it to help you code things. Even if you're not a coder, it can walk you through step by step doing something you've never done before. And you can always tell it, hey, by the way, while we're doing that coding, I want you step by step to teach me and tell me why we're doing every step of this coding, what does it mean, and how we can check it for errors, for example. So it will become your teacher versus your guide versus your coach, and so much more. So let's move to prompt engineering. I want to make it simple. I've learned by doing, and I've learned from others. So now I'm going to walk you through some ideas to keep in mind when crafting the prompt, and I'll show you some examples on how those impact the quality of the responses of ChatGPT. What is a prompt? So a prompt, you can call it a question, a line of text that you yourself write and deliver to the language model. The language model will use that prompt, that line of text, and it will try to forecast or predict what you are looking for and deliver that information to you. So I want you to imagine this. Imagine the large language model as a huge repository of knowledge with lots of compartments in that repository. And there's a door between you and those compartments. And the prompt is your key. So if you craft the right key, it will get you the knowledge from the right compartment or compartments. That is what a prompt is. It is your code to get the right information. Now, there is no such thing as a perfect prompt. In most cases, you're gonna prompt something and do follow-ups to get the full information you are looking for. But you can do it more efficiently, and you can be sure if you're doing it the right way, you're getting what you are looking for. You're getting the best result out of the language model, be it ChatGPT or anything else in the future that you deal with. So tip number 1, use roleplay. So for me, for example, I'm looking for ideas on writing a script. I always give ChatGPT a role to play. So I tell it, for example, you are a Hollywood script writer tasked to help me write a YouTube video script that I'm going to deliver to my audience. You might think this is silly, but this really affects ChatGPT's ability at different levels and scales of the quality of the information it will deliver to you. The second tip, give it context. Don't just ask a question. Give it context. What and why and how and who is involved in the action and the request you are making. So let me show you a simple example. So here I'm asking ChatGPT to give me a post on marketing Greece as a touristic destination. Some context, not enough. Let's see how it responds. So it gave me a good response, I think. If you look at it, it's a very comprehensive answer with emojis around different aspects of going to Greece and being a tourist there. And it even gave me tips for customization. Now, let me show you how the output will be much better with a defined role play and better context to what I'm trying to achieve. So this is the new prompt. You are a marketing expert in the Middle East tasked to write a post to market Greece tourism in Dubai, targeting audiences from 22 to 45 years old, expats living in Dubai, middle class and bilingual individuals, some singles and many couples. This is a post for a Facebook campaign. Now, you don't have to put all these details, but I'm just showing you that now it's a much more clearer context to the language model where it understands more of what is the goal and what is the surrounding environment of this task and this request. So let's see how it responds. So on the surface, you might just say, it's just a different looking post. So I want you to do that for yourself. You will see that every single word in the second post was designed to a much more focused outcome. So I see lots of things here talking about things unique to people in Dubai, to that age bracket we defined, and as a post, I'm assuming, I didn't check this, but this is maybe a better way to lay something out on Facebook. Now, the third tip to follow is give it clear instructions. Sometimes the way you write it, especially if it's a big prompt, it might dilute really what is the task fundamentally you're asking ChatGPT to deliver. So make sure, recommended at the end of the prompt, to give it a very specific and clear task to do for you. Tip number 4, which is very helpful. Again, all of these, just get it a little bit better. Give it examples. If you have something in mind and you're prompting ChatGPT to do, if you have 1 or 2 examples of the expected outcome, give it that outcome. For example, the post we just did, I might have a successful post that I have seen some of my successful posts by competitors use and really get lots of traction with and get lots of engagement with online. So I can pick up those samples and throw them as examples for ChatGPT in my prompt and ask it to make it just better, and ask it maybe even to tell me from these multiple examples what is the common theme that made them work and where they can be better. All of it is part of my learning and my improvement. Tip number 5, constraints and limitations. Tell ChatGPT what you do not want it to provide to you. For example, in this Greece marketing post, I can ask it, do not provide any religious references. Maybe this is something sensitive for the audience I'm going to share with. So also use this in ChatGPT for your use case. Tell it what not to do. Give it limitations and constraints if you are seeking a clear and specific outcome or output from the tool. And final 2 tips. Your prompt shouldn't always be a task. It can be just a simple question. But if you provide all the elements we talked about, regardless if that is a task or a question, the odds that you'll get a higher quality response is high. And the last tip, do this in iterations. You will probably never get the perfect answer from the perfect prompt. So in the same session, start asking follow-up questions. So I'll give you one example here. So now I followed up with this post because for me, just looking at it, it's a huge post. No one will read that on Facebook. So I'm asking it, can you give it to me in less than 100 words? And I got the digest. So this is the post now made for my audience, for my region, whatever I specified, and all digested in less than 100 words. And as I promised you, the one thing you do need to really grow and evolve and be ahead of the curve when it comes to using AI tools is learn, improve, experiment, rectify, and achieve. You have to keep doing these things. When I started with ChatGPT, I barely knew how to deal with it. I was getting very limited outcome. Today, everything nearly I'm doing, how I learned automation, how I learned to code, how I learned to do so many amazing things I've never knew how to do. I can't describe it by anything less in today's standards than superpowers. Start with it, and it's not too late. This whole thing is 1 year something old. That's it. So if you start today, you're ahead of most people. And regardless of what destination you arrive to, what you gain along the way is what you really should be looking out of this whole experience. And this brings us to the end of this video. So if you want to lead and innovate in your field, subscribe to Give Me the Mic channel and have front row seat to the world of no-code, low-code systems and the kind of innovation and enablement this technology brings you. So hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and do not forget, the mic is with you. So give me your feedback and write your comments and questions in the comment section below. And you can check some of my other cool videos here and here. Check them out. Thank you and goodbye.